Welcome to the CMO Spotlight, and I'm so excited today to talk to Matt Preschern, who's the Chief Marketing and Demand Generation Officer for NTT.
If you truly want to be an established marketeer, there are many career paths within that, but if you'd like to do it end to end and someday maybe be a CMO, you probably have to cross a certain level of the creative or the arts part. Then there is increasingly the science or the math part. You also need to be somewhat technology savvy. The best book, and I have it right, where I look over in my home office today. Go back to, for those of you who haven't read Kotler, the basics of marketing management. There is a lot in there that applies to this day about positioning, value propositions, your customer centricity, things of that nature. And if you take that curiosity with a little bit of perseverance, I can't tell you, if you think it's a straight path that's just going to lead from a desire to do to something that's usually not how it works out. I'd like to think that I'm a people person. I think that I have, knowledge. I'm a very good marketeer in its own right, but I'd like to think I'm best with people. And I found that particularly when you take on larger roles with very large multinational companies, you're only as good as your team. And to me, I derive, if I may, personally, I derive a lot of personal satisfaction also working with people. I mentor a lot of people. I try to give back. I'm a sports coach in various areas, right? And so to me, that's kind of the part. And what I say to people who I mentor also is, there's a lot of people who give you a lot of advice of how you need to build your career and the cross-functional nature and this and that. I have a slightly different point of view. I think you need to find your passion. And if you find your passion, like the people who are best in anything that they do, whether those are artists, whether that's in sports, whether that's in business, whether that's anywhere, are the ones who love what they do. And if you find what you love what you do, then this thing that we call work is actually much less work than work. It's actually something you want to do. And if you can do that, and you can now help people in a corporate setting find that. I'm a big believer in purpose-driven brand. One of the very nice things about NTT is NTT values a few things that are important to me. NTT actually cares. I've worked for many companies, and I think NTT genuinely cares about the planet and technology for good. It cares about creating a workplace that actually is here you can, is actually how we've termed it, right? For me personally, I surround myself in life in general with people who are honest, who have a certain level of integrity. And what you do is important, but how you actually do that is maybe even more. So how you treat people, how you interact with people, how you find a certain level of levity in certain situations, particularly when things, I always kind of say, if you picture yourself, you're on a little boat and you're in the middle of a storm and everything. That's when you need this certain quiet strength. I think that's important. We can't lose sight that, work is such a big part of our life that, I'm not a believer that there is a work-life balance, for example. I think that is all one thing. And what's more important is how you conduct yourself in the workplace, in your personal life. And I try to do, like everyone, we're human beings, right? And everybody makes a mistake here and there, but it's very important to me. When I was at IBM, at one point, I'm sure many of you heard when we launched Smarter Planet, where I was a part of that team. Great. When I was at UPS, we repositioned UPS Germany end to end, a marketeer's dream. When I was at HCL, we signed, to this day, a digital transformation partnership with Manchester United that led to a global, ultimately, it was like a sponsorship deal, but it did things for our brand that you could not have even envisioned. When I think of what we've done here at NTT, I will tell you, we have within probably less than 18 months, deployed a world-class account-based marketing program that's directly aligned with sales. And we just got recognized by one of the companies everybody knows, a third-party agency. Those are some of the parts, but I will tell you, they're far and in between. And again, the UPS one goes back to 93, 94. The IBM was 2008, right? The HCL one was 2015. So these are like, there's probably a couple others, but so, and sometimes what you do, the crazy thing is, it's not always, you don't necessarily always know when it happens. One goes back to the Spartans that says, the more you sweat in practice, the less you bleed in battle. The second one, and I don't know who to attribute it to, is never accept no from someone who can't say yes. And the last one is maybe a little bit provocative, but I actually have that right here when I look. The so-and-so whispers, you cannot withstand the storm. And the warrior replies, I am the storm.